Meanwhile, the counting of votes is underway for the BMC polls at the 23 designated counting centres across Mumbai. The BJP-led Mahayuti bloc is locked in a prestige battle with the reunited Thackeray cousins for control of India's richest civic body. Sanjay Raut, meanwhile, has alleged EVM malfunction. Shiv Sena MP Shaina NC too has in fact slammed Uddhav over the statements on that election. Meanwhile, the BJP has got 94 seats of the 227 seats in the BMC, with the UPT faction at around 65. Meanwhile, it is being said that it is a very closely fought contest on the ground as well. The 2026 BMC poll recorded a voter turnout of 50%, marking an increase over the 2017 civic elections. Amid counting, Shiv Sena UBT MP Sanjay Raut has in fact raised several concerns regarding the EVMs. He alleged irregularities in the electoral process, particularly in the absence of names of several voters from areas considered strongholds of opposition parties. Shaina NC of Shiv Sena Shinde faction has countered these allegations.
देखिए, वोटिंग परसेंटेज सुबह तक नहीं आया, लेकिन कल शाम को 5 बजे से एग्जिट पोल आना शुरू हो गया। हम लोग इंतजार कर रहे थे वोटिंग परसेंटेज का, और उससे पहले एग्जिट पोल आ गए। ये क्या तमाशा है? कुछ जगह पर वोटिंग चल रही थी, क्योंकि बड़ी बड़ी कतार लगी थी, क्यूज लगे थे, लोगों की भीड़ थी बूथ पर, और यहाँ एग्जिट पोल बीजेपी ने धड़ाधड़ डालना शुरू कर दिया, और हम लोग जीत रहे हैं, हमारा मेयर हो रहा है, ये नाचना गाना शुरू हो गया उनका। ये कौन सी डेमोक्रेसी है? आपका मेयर आएगा, आपको लगता है कि 100% आएगा। देखिए, हमने लोगों को पूरा भरोसा दिया है कि डरो मत। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी वाले, ये शिंदे वाले, अजित पवार वाले चाहे कितनी भी बुरा काम करें, लेकिन आप डरो मत। आप लोगों ने वोट किया है हमको। अब अगर ईवीएम से वोट गायब किया तो अलग बात है, लेकिन हमें लगता नहीं। देखिए, वोटिंग परसेंटेज सुबह तक नहीं आया, लेकिन
अब ठाकरे जी को अपना स्क्रिप्ट राइटर बदलना चाहिए, क्योंकि 2 घंटे में वो यही बोलते रहते हैं कि देखिए इंक, देखिए ईवीएम्स, देखिए इलेक्शन कमीशन, देखिए नोटों का दुरुपयोग। अरे कोई और बहाना निकालिए। ये समझ लीजिए कि हार जीत प्रजातंत्र में जनता तय करती है, और जो जीता वही सिकंदर। और शायद ये संदेश है कि जो लोग ऑन ग्राउंड काम करते हैं तो उनको मौका मिलता है, जो लोग घर से काम करते हैं उनको स्टे एट होम, वर्क फ्रॉम होम का संदेश जनता ने दिया है।
Well, we are now joined in by Savio Rodrigues, founder and editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicle, as well as Rennie Abraham, a senior journalist. Savio Rodrigues, how do you in fact read the BMC numbers? Very close fight in certain places, and it looks like the Thackeray's consolidation has probably helped them stem the tide in certain seats. How do you in fact read from these leads?
Well, I'm looking at the numbers. I've been in Mumbai for a couple of days prior to the elections. I am pretty confident that the BJP and the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena are going to take this home, and they're going to ride it through with the absolute majority that is required for them to be in the governance of the BMC. But having said that, I think the biggest loser of this entire exercise will be Raj Thackeray much more than Uddhav Thackeray. And I say that because you would see that the MNS in its numbers is not doing as expected when compared to the UBT. And that is something that Raj Thackeray needs to relook at, because the coming together of the Thackeray was to bring forward or to take forward the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray. But the reality is not many people in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra believe in either of the brothers to take forward the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray. So I think it's a no-brainer in the way I see it as far as the BJP is concerned. The question is whether they will end up doing about 140, between 130 to 140, or would they cross the 150 mark is what decides how effective BJP and the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena has performed. And the way it looks like, I think they're going to get through the majority. But whether they have brute majority is what is waiting to be seen.
Also, how would you in fact see the contest that's happening across the 29 other important corporations? Just like BMC, most of them are in fact some of the richest as well compared to other corporations in the country. And over there, there are other alignments. You have the Congress, you have the NCPs like in Pimpri Chinchwad, and over there the alignments have been quite different. So how do you see those numbers as well?
See, one of the unique things of the politics in Maharashtra, and ever since there are so many political parties that have got their own alliances within themselves, like you have the NCP, the Ajit Pawar faction in competition with the BJP in Pune, for example, and in other places. So this competition is healthy, and I think wherever BJP is gone and strongly by itself, it will create its own mark. I think even on the larger Maharashtra, it will be Ajit Pawar's faction that might see some dent in their performance in areas they assume that the performances will be good. But I think the dominance will be with BJP and Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, and that is exactly how they want it positioned. You see, the NCP, Ajit Pawar also, for reasons best known to them, will see their dominance weakening, and because of the dominance weakening, they will further strengthen their alliance with the BJP in order to stay relevant. The biggest loser in this entire thing of the Maharashtra polls that you're having, I reiterate, will be Raj Thackeray, because Raj Thackeray's uh, fight for survival is really going to be next to nothing at this point of time after this, because the brand of politics that they stand for is something that is passe, it's old. You know, the people of Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra don't want this brand of politics. What people are looking at is development. What people are looking at is ability to get employment. What people are looking at is cities in Maharashtra competing with global cities. Mumbai should be a global city and should compete. So the advantage that BJP and Shinde Shiv Sena had was their plank was development. However, Raj Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, their plank was abusing Annamalai, who's got really nothing to do with Maharashtra politics, but was obviously campaigning for the BJP. And that is where the problem is, because the Mumbaikar is alert. Of course, some people will continue to vote for them, but they are not going to have a majority and they're not going to be victorious, is what I can see completely from the ground, because that kind of politics has changed. See, this is not the time of the Marathi Manus. The Marathi Manus is saying, okay, we understand you want the Marathi Manus, but what have you done for us? What have the Thackeray brothers done for the Marathi Manus other than sloganeering and beating up people? So that is where the disconnect is with the Thackeray brothers. And if they don't see that, because that's their brand of politics. But it is going to be BJP and Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena that will take this forward across, is the way I see it.
Well, we are also joined in by Rennie Abraham, senior journalist. Rennie, do you think that is more of an MNS's survival strategy, that they were forced to in fact come together in or reconcile with the UBT faction, because that's the only way to ensure that it doesn't go for another split when it comes to votes on the ground, and you can in fact have the strength of the other to support you in places where you require it. So do you think it is more of a survival battle for the MNS?
That's very true, Mr. Verghese. The MNS for quite some time had been, finding its political entity totally, eroded in Maharashtra. There was a time when they ruled the roost in the Nasik Municipal Corporation, for example, and after their first tenure, they were just ejected by the voter base there. So the fact of the matter is, ever since 2005, when the Shiv Sena reins of power was handed over to Uddhav Thackeray, and Raj Thackeray had formed his MNS party, he had only had a nuisance value so far as political, voting was concerned, particularly in Mumbai city, where his voters were actually cutting into the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena party. So for him, it was literally a battle of survival so far. And this time round, as I am told very particularly, he was very, very disillusioned even with the tie-up with the Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray led Shiv Sena, because he was given a lot of losing seats in Mumbai. as against what he was hoping for, so that he could make a dent in Mumbai's Civic Corporation by having MNS corporators elected. And now what is very, very clear, I mean, as I told you earlier this morning, Mr. Burgess, the BJP was somewhere worried that they might not cross the 100 mark with the two, Thackeray brothers coming together. But as the results show you as of now, with even close to 50 seats yet to be announced, the BJP has already touched the 100 figure. And as I told you earlier this morning, development, that is the plank on which Devendra Fadnavis very consciously kept emphasizing, whereas emotional appeal was what the Thackeray Bandhus resorted to. And it's very clear that the voters have rejected that emotional appeal that was put out by them in favor of development, which they have seen in Mumbai, particularly in a city like Mumbai, with the Atal Setu, the metro, the coastal road, the Samruddhi highway across Maharashtra. So voters have consciously chosen the development plank that was put out by the BJP, and have preferred to go for long-standing development. As I also mentioned earlier, the 2.5 years of the MVA government in Maharashtra was witness to major infra projects, including the bullet train, which was delayed by 2.5 years. Similarly, the metro was delayed by 2.5 years, which cost, the city of Mumbai and Maharashtra very, very, very highly. The cost escalation for the metro project was 10,000 crore by virtue of that 2.5 years delay. The bullet train, I mean, likewise, a lot of these projects would have been that much ahead had they not been impeded by a change in government. And that is the sense that comes out from the civic elections across 29 municipalities of Maharashtra. People have realized this. We need to get development on track. We cannot be, delaying the progress. And like Savio said, Mumbai has always been a global city. I mean, how long can we wait upon development owing to political bickerings and things like that? So it's very clear, 100 for BJP, another 40 odd seats remaining to be announced. They might very well cross the majority threshold on their own strength, along with Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena in Mumbai city.